All right, welcome back to the New Equity Network show. I've got Philip Racusin, CEO, co-founder, EnergyFunders.com on the show with me today. Philip, you have really, I really enjoy talking to you on the show because you bring a lot of optimism into an industry that is really tough. I mean, it's very, very difficult to one, perform for the client, and two, to find people that fit the profile that can actually invest in the projects, not just financially but also psychologically. And your claim to fame is the speed at which your really diverse team performs for the operators, and also the transparency at which your team performs for the investor. Can we get into that in a minute?
Sure. Yeah, I'm happy to elaborate on that. We've been able to fund projects really quickly because we're transparent with the investor. We've been noted to have a level of transparency that's actually unusual. A lot of deals that I'll see out there, they don't have nearly enough information to evaluate whether it's actually a good deal, what the chance of success might be. And we dig really deep into each project to determine it's something we want to do. We go through our three-stage process, and by the end, when we're preparing it to put it up as a private offering to our community of investors, we are giving them a wealth of information: logs, production history, backgrounds, maps, leases, title, everything that anyone could possibly want. And then we have it reviewed by experts inside and outside of the company. I know that I've heard from the investors that they appreciate that. Whether they're really sophisticated in oil and gas, or whether it's their first time investing directly in the oil field, we do everything we can to make sure that they can, they have the tools to make their own well-informed investment decision about whether they want to invest. And then for the operators, we will basically guide them through the whole process.
All right, let's drill down into that a little bit, because there may be people out there that have wanted that kind of revenue stream off the oil and gas industry, especially since it's so familiar to everybody here in the in the Dallas Metroplex area. But there are people outside of this area that have always wanted to get in an oil deal, but they don't know where to start. They don't know what to look at. So when you go through and you start screening through the different projects that come to you, then let's talk about what you're looking at.
Sure. So anyone out there listening who wants to get involved, it doesn't cost you anything. It's free to register, and there's no obligation. You'd want to go to EnergyFunders.com, and it'll just guide you through the process. It takes about maybe 10, 20 seconds to sign up. No personal financial information required. And this is the way we go through the deal, how we look at it. The first thing we do is we ask for the submission of a variety of information that's crucial to understanding the deal. When we receive that back from the operator, it's going to be production history. It's going to be any offsets. It's going to be API numbers of wells that the operator currently operates. It's going to be the actual terms of the deal, the theory of why there will be success, descriptions of the project, and any logs and maps and so forth. We're going to start evaluating all that from the beginning. We're going to determine, does this make sense? Is this feasible? Is this going to generate a good economic return for the investor? And we evaluate it from that standpoint. And if we like what we see, then we may need to continue to negotiate the terms of the deal to make it better for the investor. And then what we'll do is we start digging a lot deeper. We verify everything we've been sent. We ask and receive more information. Then we start the expert review. And then if there's a general consensus among the experts inside and outside, then we proceed to the third stage, and that's where we finalize the deal. We enter into a purchase and sale agreement, and we're going to generate a private offering. So it's really a multi-step process. It takes a lot of work. I've had people in the industry tell me that they like to invest for their own account, but it takes them weeks to find one deal they want to invest in, and they have to go to different deal expos in order to even be exposed and have access to those deals. So I know they've appreciated that we put the time and work into this. It makes sense for us to do so because we're doing it for a community of investors rather than just one investor.
Now, your interests are aligned with the investor, so where does your profit come from?
So what we do is we take a 10% carried interest on the revenue that's generated. We only make money when the investor makes money, and that's the best way, we believe, to align our incentives with the investors. That's why they know that we're not interested in putting up deals that we don't believe would have a good chance of success. We can only make money by putting up deals that really have a good chance of success.
Right. Now, in that note, are you starting to see more companies come to you as an adjunct to what they're already doing on funding their projects? Like they'll bring you a project for your crowdfunding site to help them fund and also at the same time, let's say that they'll be doing it, rolling up their sleeves and funding the deals on their own at the same time. How does that work?
Well, some operators have expressed an interest in fundraising at the same time that we can raise funds for them on the platform, and we can do that. What we would probably do is if they have a larger project, then we would take a good piece of it, and we'd go fund that. And if they have some regular investors that they go to, then they can go fund their another piece of the deal. And in that way, we help them fund the entire deal and save them months of time. Okay.
The alternate investments that are out there, because we're in a low interest rate market right now, and direct investment in oil and gas through EnergyFunders, let's touch on that one a little bit, because there's all kinds of other investments out there, but this has a special appeal to a certain type of people. So on the landscape of the variety of investments, bring that out for us about how you feel this industry sector is looking going forward.
Sure. Well, you've got stocks, of course, of majors, super majors, large independents, and then small publicly traded oil companies. That's not a bad investment. The problem with that, though, in this environment is that they have the legacy costs and the overhead that was tied to a market that had higher oil prices. So the returns might be somewhat limited, and it's anybody's guess when that's going to come back. Other investments are going to be, maybe through investment banks, but that's for really very high net worth individuals. You could invest in MLP, but then again, the problem you have with that is they again have a lot of legacy projects that may not be economic in this environment or are barely economic at all, and they're going to have to shut them down, or they're going to have to operate at a loss if they're a project that they can't shut down and would therefore lose the pressure that's necessary to produce. And so that brings you kind of around to what is the best way to invest in oil and gas, or really to generate returns. And when you invest directly in the oil field like you can through EnergyFunders, then you're getting in at the price of oil that is prevailing right now. And when it goes up, you make that appreciation. And then, of course, you would also receive cash flow on a successful project. And so you're getting the assets at a lower price, and then you're also getting the cash flow. And in a low interest rate environment, you can't really make much on your money. I was talking with a gentleman the other day, and he had a lot of money in his savings account. He said, I make 0.67% on my money, and I'm not excited about it. And he was looking for something other than that, and he didn't know what could he put his money in, because at that rate you're not even outpacing inflation. So it's which is historically low, but then you can't make money on with instruments that have such low yields. So that's what we offer to the investing community.
Wow, you bring a lot to it. I'm glad to have you on the show so that we can talk about the different things that you're doing and the way that you're changing the landscape of this industry sector. All right, Philip, we've got to run. We're at the end of our segment, but before we go, please, one last time, contact information for your company.
EnergyFunders.com, or type in EnergyFunders in any search engine, and you'll find us, and you'll be guided right through the process.
Great.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Philip. All right, Philip Racusin, CEO, co-founder, EnergyFunders.com. Up next, another advocate for the investor in the oil patch, Michael Hanberry, BTJ Consulting. We'll be right back.